Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, we're going to be making some oxtail stew. Yes, some oxtail stew. So get your ingredients ready. Description is below, and let's get ready to make this lovely warm fall winter dish. It's so filling. You can put it over rice, you can put it over potatoes, or you can eat it as is. It has so many yummy vegetables in it. Huge oxtails, which you'll see, and I'm going to show you step by step how to make this, the gravy, the veggies, everything. So let's get to it. So step one, what we're going to do is wash our oxtails. So all I use is cold water and apple cider vinegar. And I just basically let them soak in a bath for a few minutes, not too long, and kind of rinse them off. After I take them out of the ice vinegar bath, I also rinse them with a little cold water. Our ingredients that I'm going to start with, there's so many ingredients to this stew, but these are just the ones that we need for prepping. We need to cut our potatoes, and these are the potatoes that I use. We have celery. We have fresh ginger. You can use ginger powder if you have it, but I like to use fresh ginger, fresh oregano, fresh thyme, and also some carrots. I was kind of upset that I didn't have any whole garlic, but I did have some minced garlic already in my fridge, so I did use that. So here are my chopped veggies. So I chopped my carrots, I chopped my celery, I have sweet onion, all those good things in there, and my potatoes. So yeah, so those are all of those ingredients. And then here's the garlic. We want a nice amount of garlic because you remember this is a stew. I have butter beans. I actually have 2 cans of butter beans. I'm just showing you guys the butter beans that I have. I have my seasonings already mixed up, which is salt, pepper, cayenne pepper, and I have some whole cloves. And here is my brown sugar. So, as I always tell you guys, always get your ingredients out. I have 2 sticks of butter, but I only used 1.5 sticks of butter. I have 1.5 cups of flour, and that's what we're gonna be using to thicken up our gravy. If you do, I like to use the beef broth. So I use one of the 32-ounce beef broth, and I also have some Worcestershire sauce. Some browning for our oxtails. I'll show you what to do with that. It's going to give us that nice color on our oxtails. And here are my lovely oxtails. They're already clean and they're ready to go. So now that we have all our ingredients, one thing I almost forgot. I have some frozen veggies as well. So I have frozen whole corn. You can use the corn kernels if you want. For this recipe, I decided to use the half sweet corn. So we're going to, in our pot, we're going to add our beef broth. Now, after we add this beef broth, we're going to fill up our container. The same container, we're going to fill this up twice with hot water. Just from the faucet is fine, and add that to our pot as well. So that's why you can kind of see that this is kind of clear because it's just water. So all I did was dump out my beef broth and then added water. Filled this up twice and added water to my stew. Now, if you want, you can use all beef broth. It's just going to probably give you a deeper flavor. I chose to use water because we have so many ingredients to put in. So that's going to give us flavor as well. First thing you want to do is add the browning. Now, I did add a little bit too much browning on here, but it's fine. The excess browning will just be in the bowl, and we'll also use a little bit of this browning for our stew at the bottom. So we're using the dark brown sugar, and yes, I use dark brown sugar, not light brown. If you want to use light brown sugar, that's fine, but I prefer using the dark brown sugar. We're going to also season our oxtails with salt and pepper. So after we get our seasoning, just salt, pepper, Worcestershire, yeah, however you say it, just say it. You know, we all say it in a different language. Worcestershire, whatever. So now we're going to just basically massage those few seasonings that we've added to our oxtail. And the reason why I don't put all of my seasonings on here, like I normally used to put like my thyme and my other things on here, but you lose a lot of those seasonings in the pan. So I'll show you after we're done this, and I don't want to burn the seasonings off of the oxtail, so I just add them to the stew. So getting my pot ready. My pot is basically come to a simmer. I'm going to add all of those veggies, and if you want, you can take off the leaves from the oregano and the thyme. I personally don't, because they come right off. Like I just pick this sticks out as it cooks, and I'm adding my onions, my potatoes, all of that yummy good stuff. Here are my seasonings. You can see my cloves. So if you have any other seasonings that you want to add to this, you can. I personally just like to keep it a little bit simple. I mean, it's not simple because there's a lot of ingredients to this stew. So we're also going to add our garlic. And once you get the prep done, this recipe is very, very easy, because you're basically just putting everything in your one pot, other than when we're doing this step. So I'm adding some olive oil, a nice amount, to the bottom of the pan. Covering the bottom of the pan mostly with the olive oil, letting it heat up for a second. And then I'm going to just sear my oxtails on each side. So that's the front side, the back side, and even those sides with the fat. And this keeps the oxtail kind of together, but because it's a stew and I let it cook for 3 hours, it ends up falling off of the bone. But this gives our oxtail a nice texture while it's cooking. And we're going to flip it. So we're just browning it. Yep, and you see I got some fatty oxtails, but they're huge. When I say these are huge, these are some huge oxtails. I love, love, love these oxtails. This recipe came just in time because my boyfriend wasn't feeling too good after Thanksgiving, because we were running around entertaining family, and it's cold here in Atlanta right now. We have good days, we have bad days, but this actually helped him last night feel much better because it's a stew. And we have all that garlic and ginger and all that good stuff in there for his immune system. So these are the little ones that I have left, which are actually not that small. But I don't have any more room in my pan, so I'm going to have to do this twice. So as you can see, I flipped them on the side. So now I'm pretty much just searing them on the side. And you're going to sear these oxtails on the sides for about 2 minutes each. So in total, I've probably cooked these for about 8 minutes. 2 minutes on each side. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to give you guys commentary as quick as my video. So right after we're done, we're going to immediately add those big juicy oxtail. Don't they look good already? Yes. So we're going to add these to our pot. And they're just, when I say they're big, yeah, they're big. So that's why you see me kind of struggling to pick them up with my tongs here. So we're just adding those. And look at that gorgeous caramelized flavor, and that's because of the brown sugar and the browning and the Worcestershire sauce. And we're just putting them in our pot with our veggies. And let's add the other smaller pieces. I like to cook the big pieces first to add them to my boiling pot. And then I'm going to add these smaller guys. And you can see that's brown sugar, browning, and Worcestershire sauce. And we're going to save that because we're going to add that. So after I got my smaller pieces in my pot, I put in my frozen veggies on top. Now the reason why I just added these second is because they're already pretty much done. They're frozen. So you can add these to the beginning or you can add them last. However, it doesn't matter because we're making stew. So everything is going to go in the pot. I just always give it a little bit of time before I add. So in that same pot, I rinsed it out. And I'm going to add 1 whole stick of butter. Now this is salted butter. And then I'm adding my flour little by little. And my heat is on medium. A little over medium, not medium high, but a little over medium. And then I'm just adding my flour to that butter. And it thickens up really, really quick. So make sure you have some hot water on standby because we need the hot water. But first, before we add the hot water, we're going to add a little bit of that Worcestershire browning mix to our bowl to give it a dark color. So as you can see, it's giving us kind of like that dark look. And this is going to make for a yummy oxtail gravy. So I did add water off camera because I'm actually holding the camera. My tripod is nowhere to be found. So I wanted to get you guys this recipe. So I did add some water. And I'm going to just keep giving it a stir. So you want to add water until it becomes kind of like this paste. And this is what we're going to use to thicken up our stew. Yes. Another way that you can thicken up the stew, because actually this wasn't even enough for me to get the consistency that I wanted. It did thicken it up pretty good, but I wanted it a little more thick. So I had some cornstarch in the house, and I basically added about a half a cup of cornstarch to a half a cup of cold water. I stirred that, and I also added that to my pot to get a thicker consistency. Now, if you don't want it super thick or you don't want it gravy-like and you kind of want it like a soup, then you don't have to add the cornstarch. But I'm just letting you guys know a nice tip to thicken up your sauces and your stews and your soup is you can also add cornstarch, which is a little bit better sometimes than adding more flour, because with flour you really have to keep your seasonings, so we have to add more seasonings. So here I'm adding my butter beans. I added 2 cans, and as you can see, that cornstarch also made it thick. This is after 2.5 3 hours of just simmering, and this is the end result. Nice hot pot. The vegetables are amazing. And guys, this stew made me a fan of butter beans. When I was little, I did not know where butter beans came from. I wasn't a butter beans fan. But now I love butter beans, and I'm not scared to cook with them because of this dish right here. So this is just adding some of that nice stew on top of my oxtail and veggies. And I have some brown rice underneath of there. So as you can see, it is a winner, and it's so good, so yummy. Thank you guys for coming to my page. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, commenting on videos. I know I'm new to this, and hopefully I can get you guys some better quality videos. But until then, these are going to have to do. Every day I'm learning new ways on YouTube. If you have any advice for me, please feel free to message me or comment. I'm open for all suggestions. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this nice fall/winter oxtail stew. And this is the end result. Over rice, or you can just have it as is in a nice bowl. I also made some Hawaiian rolls to go with this for dinner. My boyfriend made some fried cabbage, and we also had that. But this bowl filled my belly up. See you next time.